Welcome to another edition of Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. So glad you were with us. It's U.S. Open week. We are in San Luis Obispo, California, coming to you live, sort of, on, what is the 12th? What's the day? 15th.
Today is the 13th.
The show's going to air on the 15th, right?
Yes.
But we are recording on Thursday evening, but we are glad that you are here. It's the first round of the Open for us. By the time you hear this, the cut will be made, and I hope you get a chance to watch the U.S. Open this weekend. It's also Father's Day, so we'll be talking today not only about the U.S. Open and what's going on around with that, but we'll talk about Father's Day, gift ideas, share some stories about fathers, and try to encourage you to do something with your father or your kids on Father's Day. And we're going to have Nikki in studio. She's on her way up. She's fighting traffic in this area, but she'll be here in a little bit.
Amongst other things.
So my name is Billy Gibbs. That guy's Mr. Mike Brabenik. Hi, Mike. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, Gibby. Hello, everybody. I'm doing good, man.
Cool.
Crazy whirlwind day. Started first tee for summer already.
Wow.
This morning, really early, and it was really hot. And then when I left work, it was really cold. Very strange weather.
It's funny. I just ended first tee, so my last class was tonight, and yours was this morning.
No wonder you're worn out.
Oh, dude, it's been one of those days. But
Yeah.
I'm glad to be in the studio, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So really going to enjoy it. We're going to start off like we do every show with BM in the morning. And, Mike, you got something you want to push out?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I took my mom and my wife and I went to the Giants game against the Padres on Tuesday night. I wanted to say that when I was sitting there with my mom and my lovely wife, how many memories I had of you and I going up into the Bay Area, making a little golf trip, playing a round of golf, and then going to a Giants game or two. And you know when you have those moments, like they're such great moments, and then you try to explain them to other people, and they just don't hold the weight if the person or people were not there with you.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to, the joy that we shared and the fun and laughter, and it's hard to share that. How would you share that? You're right. How do you explain to people what it was like? But I've never laughed so hard some certain those days. I love, I'm not a big baseball fan, but I sure am a fan going to the Giants games with you because you're a huge baseball fan. And we've had a blast. We've also had, lucky enough, we've had friends that have given us some really good seats. So we had waiters. Remember we had, what was Mario? What was his name? Do you remember that guy waited on us a bunch of times? But
right. And he was good.
So yeah, it was really fun. What are those seats called? What are those box seats or what do they have?
We were just below where you and I were, just the opposite side of the radio booth for KMBR.
Yeah, so
when we went Tuesday night.
They were like club passes.
So we were field club,
Yeah.
and I think where we were was club level.
It was cool.
Like there's that walk-in bar area and stuff.
We had and we actually had a waiter. And I don't know if that's common in
We
ball
had
games
that
these
on the
days.
bottom, yeah.
So you had that too?
So here's the other thing we had. We didn't know.
We got menus. I've
Yeah.
never seen that. You get menus and
They did the same thing for us.
trip.
And we did a little upgrade thing. My wife got tickets from their families. She's a teacher, and so we upgraded for really cheap. Got like seats from the 11th row or something behind home plate. And so then there are tunnels you go down to. I've been to the stadium a million times. I've never been that close to the home plate. So we're going down the little tunnels, and you're just like, okay, are we supposed to be down here? Like that's what it feels like. And then you go down, and they had this big open food court that like nobody knows about. It's just amazing. And then you go down behind where you buy the beer. The whole batting warm-up cage underneath the stadium is glass. You can watch the guys
Warming up?
hitting batting practice.
It's like an aquarium.
Yeah, in between innings. It was like an aquarium.
So how cool could you feed the fish? I mean, you
No,
throw them,
it was
you
airtight.
throw them some chaw,
It was airtight.
chewing
sealed.
gum or anything.
It was sealed tight.
Do they come to the window and kind of look and bump their nose against you and stuff like?
No, but they're throwing. They're putting the ball on the tee, and just whap.
Did a mermaid swim by at all? While you were
No mermaids.
No.
But I'll tell you, it was a great
That
game,
is pretty
man.
cool, actually. I had no idea because I know we went back. We took a long walk and we watched. They had those pitching stations where you can pitch.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff. For
Yeah, that was all the way in the back.
Well, that's cool, and it's hard to explain, but I hope you had I don't know if you could have as much fun with your family, but you might. If you were with your mom and your wife, is that right?
Yeah.
Because I was at a party at your house that night.
Yeah.
And good party, by the way. I texted you. But it's cool that you went and you got to spend time with. How neat is that to spend time with your mom and your wife at a ball game?
That was cool.
But did you laugh near as hard as when you and I went?
I laughed a couple times.
All right.
A couple times I laughed. It was remembering last year when we took my mom last year to a Dodger game, and she doesn't like this one player. Yasiel Puig is his name.
Oh, everybody likes Puig. He's got a tude.
Yeah, so we're down in the middle amongst a whole bunch of people, and all of a sudden the guy goes, now batting, Yasiel Puig.
That was good, Mike.
Here's my mom. Boo! Boo! I don't like that, Puig. Boo! Boo! And so all the rows of people in front of her, like, they're turning around looking at her, and they're like, my mom's 84 years old. So, boo!
So
Keeps going. They all start busting up, and I was cracking
If
up.
you were in L.A., you get bricks thrown at you.
Oh, you couldn't do that in L.A.
Well, no.
Well, maybe you could. They traded him, so you never know.
Well, he was controversial.
Yeah.
Because he's been in, 2 World Series
Yeah.
in a row or something, right? But I
Yeah.
saw, I don't watch much baseball, but I watched the World Series. And I remember his name. And they were talking about trading him and all kinds of
But
stuff.
we were laughing. I was laughing. I don't know. I guess it was my whole point without telling these stories is a trip down memory lane because we were laughing about thinking of my mom last year. I was laughing about the times you and I have gone up there, played great golf courses. I mean, you and I went up there and played Olympic Club, and then we went to a game.
We took a game in a limo once.
Yeah.
Remember that from
Yeah.
our hotel to we limoed it.
Yeah.
No, that was a pretty fun game.
We played, what was the Alistair McKenzie course we played up there?
There was some
Green Hills.
some private thing. up
Green
top.
Hills Country
It
Club.
was awesome. You could see the airplanes.
Yeah.
Well, was that
And
the
those
place?
greens
we played
were.
Shoreline. We played. Was that
We
where the
played
airplanes?
Shoreline once.
One of them.
San Mateo. It's Poplar Creek.
Some. Yeah. It was
I
pretty,
ran into Gary, by the way, the head pro. The head pro is at Poplar Creek. He
Yeah.
came down and played Paso about a month ago.
very.
He still
cool.
remembered us, and I forgot to tell you.
You're
He said hi.
kidding.
No, he came down and he goes. I listen to your guys' podcast. He goes, you guys are awesome.
Well, shout out to Gary.
So Gary, I'm sorry, my bad. I just totally spaced it, and I forgot to tell Billy, but I'm telling him on the air that you said hi. So
Well-
Gary came down and played.
Well, we just got to do that again.
I mean, I agree.
So, but I'm glad you had a great time. And the party at your house is we cleaned up early, so there wasn't too bad of stuff, right? So there shouldn't have been anything left over. Hopefully that the smell of the smoke and stuff was gone by the time you got home. We went through like a gallon of
I will tell you-
Febreze. What do they call it stuff?
Febreze.
Nikki's here. So, but you look shorter than usual.
Thank you.
Let me turn on your mic. That would help. Now it's on.
Hello.
Why you
Hi.
look so short?
Maybe you've gotten tall.
Oh, that could be it. That could be it. So, welcome to the show. Glad you're here, Nikki.
Thank you.
I changed your chair out for a little bitty stool. That's why I was trying to make fun. Because that's not your chair. I threw it outside the door and put that.
Yeah, he pushed.
I know.
He pushed your chair.
I know
out.
that.
Because you know everything.
I do know.
So,
The last thing that tied my story.
how would you know that I pushed your chair out and put a stool down?
Because it's never here. A stool is never here.
Well, there's two of them.
It's always in
Right
the
there,
corner.
I know, but not this
So,
stool here.
So you didn't really know. You were assuming. You
It's
there's
a
no way
high level of
because
assumption.
He really did it, which is hilarious because you thought I did. So, but we're here to. So it's a high level of assumption.
Hi guys.
Hi. Hey, to tie together the whole baseball thing.
Yeah.
The entire section that I was in was going to the U.S. Open.
Ugh.
They were people there from Texas, Delaware, Florida, Arizona. I mean, all like people around us. I hear you hear them all talking. Like, we're going to Pebble Beach. We're going to Pebble Beach. And I was thinking how much
Did it make you want to go?
no.
I'm leaving in about 6 hours.
Yeah. I want to go, but I don't want to go deal with the crowds.
Me too.
I just don't. I've had there were
Those are
people that
Babies.
there are people that I talked to today actually at the golf course that volunteered and were also there the last couple days, and they said it was very well run, but that it was a zoo.
Yeah.
You know, they loved it, but they said it
Babies.
was a zoo. So I'm not into that. So
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
yeah.
Well, I'm going. So I'll think of you. Well, I won't think of you guys, but I'm going, and I'm going to go there tomorrow morning, leaving really early, and I'm going to spend the day up there and have a blast. But
Have
that's
fun.
not my BM part of it. Thank you, Nikki. I will do my best to have fun, and I'll text
Yes,
you every 20 minutes.
definitely.
Would you?
I'll
I'd love to have you do
Yeah,
that.
I'll do that, Nick. A couple months ago, or maybe a month or so ago, it's Father's Day weekend coming up, and we'll be talking about Father's Day here in a minute. I mentioned that for 58 years, almost 59 years, was the person I thought was my father, I was told was not my father. So, which is pretty trippy. If your whole life you believe one thing, and you spend your life with one person you think is your dad, and then you find out later he's not. So, I started to do this 23andMe. You guys heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did 23andMe because my father is Jim Gibbs, or was Jim Gibbs, and his twin brother's daughters did 23andMe. So if you do 23andMe, it comes back and it gives you a list of your relatives that have done 23andMe. It gives you
Yeah.
direct names and everybody. who they
Wow.
are. So if Jim Gibbs was my father, their names would be the top of the list because they're my first cousins from my dad's twin brother. So it turns out I am related to Chandler Bing, which is my closest relative on 23andMe. Now, you don't have to give your real name out. Most people do so they can find family, but if you want to check out something and you don't want to give your real name, you can put an alias. So my closest cousin is Chandler Bing, and Jim Gibbs was not my father at all. He wasn't because their names would have popped up. So
is Chandler Bing a real name?
Chandler Bing is the guy from Friends, so that's
That's the caricature.
That's the character. So
Right.
so that my cousin, he's a second cousin. So Jim Gibbs is who I thought were my cousins are not. So their names would have been on the list. So the only reason I did is to find out if Jim Gibbs was my father or not.
Right.
So it's funny, but my closest relative, there's somebody that used their name Chandler Bing.
That is great.
So you can message these people. So I'm going to tell them I'm Joey Tribbiani, and
Oh my
but
God,
I am
that is
your
so
cousin, and
funny.
I'd like to reach out and at least find out who you really are, because you don't need your real name, but most people put their real name so you can find each other. You can find
Right.
family.
Right.
But this guy, who could be a criminal and doesn't want his name in the database.
Right.
But it is funny because I have cousins everywhere, and there's like 1,000 names that come up that are second cousins, third cousins, all the way down to hundredth cousin.
Does it tell you what they do or
Now,
do? Or
if they have a profile,
if they have a profile?
yeah, you can find out.
Do you
But
find any golfers?
I didn't look at anybody.
You didn't look at
I
anybody,
just,
no.
I just was trying to compare, and I just got it back. It takes 5 or 6 weeks to get the information back. But I thought on Father's would be kind of funny because I found out officially that Jim Gibbs isn't my father. And I was raised mostly for my stepfather anyways, my mom's husband, when they married when I was 2 or 1 or 2. So I knew my dad. I'd visit Jim Gibbs. I don't even know what to call him anymore. But I would visit that guy and thinking it was my father in summer vacations.
Right.
And then all the way up until he passed away, I was taking care of him in the last few years. And as an adult, I was around him a lot. So, but he never let on, and of course he knew that I wasn't his kid, and my mom knew obviously that I wasn't his kid. But they kept that secret up all the time, and it's trippy. It's very trippy. But when I was told the story, there was some evidence on paper that really looked like it was true, but I wanted to find out for sure.
Sure.
So I did this 23andMe thing, and it's a rush knowing that he wasn't. So now the brain's spinning even more. But I would like to know, who John Moore was the name of my father.
All right.
So my initials would be BM. So that's just instead of BG. But
How ironic, and I'm MB and you'd be BM,
yeah.
That's ironic.
I'd be a BM.
It is.
and I'd be an MB.
So anyway, I thought it's because we're later in the show we'll talk about fathers and how they inspired us or in golf, and I learned golf from Jim Gibbs or because he golfed and dropped me off at the country club. Didn't play much golf with him, but he introduced me to the game, and so it just was kind of a trip to find that truly out. So I've talked to my cousins, and they now know, and because I asked them if they were I wasn't going to do 23andMe if none of them did it, right? So because I would never know if they didn't do 23andMe, how would their names would be on the list? So they were. They said, "Yeah, we did it, and we found out a bunch of stuff too."
How
And
do they do the DNA?
you spit? They send you a
Live
spit
test.
kit.
They don't give you an option.
No, I tried to poop in this little thing. That didn't work. they set that back, Mike, and it's really a tiny little thing. So you've got to. So if you have someone helping you, you just spit, and you have to spit a lot. So you just dry. You don't have if you have dry mouth, you're done, because you just spit until you fill up the tube. But and then you shake the chemical in and you send it in. It's pretty trippy, but there's all kinds of information. I haven't dug through it. I've dug through it too much.
Wow,
I
that
just
is
went
that's
right
amazing.
right to the relative list.
Right.
But Chandler Bing is my closest.
That is
my closest
absolutely-
23andMe. So I am going to email or message him and a joke, tell him I'm Joey, and then
Right.
give him a brief. This is my my story here, and give him my real name as well, and see if he wants to contact. I don't know if I give my real name yet, but see if he wants now, because I think I will, because he could think it's a joke, right?
Yeah.
So because all of
I've thought about doing that. I just don't.
there's a lot of
just
stuff
don't
you'd
know.
find out.
I don't know.
It's fascinating because it goes
It is
back.
fascinating.
It goes back to everybody. We're all related, way back. I mean,
Well-
it goes back to everybody. It starts at one little point, and it shows that and tells all the histories of what different continents and stuff, how it merged, but way back,
Right.
It
thousands,
also
thousands of years
tells
ago.
you things like if you're susceptible to certain allergies.
Yeah, if you
or-
want, there's
Yeah.
you can upgrade and get the health stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had enough bad news in my life, so I didn't go that route.
Right.
Mine was about $100 or something like that. You can go
Yeah.
more, and they'll give you all your health stuff. Like she said.
Yeah, how
she's
likely you
all-
are to come down with this or that, or
Yeah, and it's a lot of people do that for that reason. And then I would love to know the health of my real father.
Right.
It'd be nice to know, 'cause I didn't get the mental illness that Jim Gibbs had, thank God.
Yeah.
He
Right.
struggled with the manic depressant. So did my brother, and so does my sister. So I didn't, and I was always wondering when's it coming. It's my turn,
Oh, it's so
but
interesting.
it never did, and
Yeah.
now it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why it didn't come, because it was that gene was strong.
Isn't that interesting, though? I know that, not your real father, but he's technically the one that got you exposed to golf.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it was.
And look at what you've done
on a-
for your career and where you've gone and all the great things you've done. So, I mean, even though I'm sure it's bittersweet and it's probably your life feels a little turned upside down at the same time, look at all the things you've done
Yeah.
with your career,
And
and the
there-
people you've had an impact on, positively.
Well, of course,
impacting.
there's no bitterness, and that
Yeah.
it's not bitter. It's trippy. I mean, it's heavy to think about it, but it's Jim Gibbs didn't ever feel like my real father, anyways, because I just visited him, and Dick King was the one who told me, my mom's husband for a bunch of years,
Right.
until she, so he told me, and he knew later, my mom told him. And their plan was my mom wanted to tell me before she passed away. And she kept telling me, I have something really important to tell you. And I thought she was going to give me, I'm going to pass away, here's what I want you to do in your life conversation,
Right.
the end of life conversation. And that apparently that's what she really wanted to tell me. So before he passed away, my stepdad wanted to tell me the truth. So it explains a lot, because I was nothing like Jim Gibbs. I mean, I don't look like him. My brother and sister look exactly like him. And I didn't act like him. I was all my mom. I mean, I looked just like my mom. And so this John Moore, I've seen pictures of him and investigated him, and I look a lot more like him than Jim Gibbs. So it made some, they were both Navy aviators. He was a test pilot. That's how they knew each other.
Right.
So it's how my mom met him, was through she was friends with my dad, I'm assuming. But it's a trip, but not, I wish I would have known. If I would have known, what would I have done with it?
Right. Right.
I mean, right. So them keeping it a secret is impressive.
That's a long time
And
secret
for
right
my
there.
dad,
Yeah, really.
For my dad, up and downs that we've had, and altercations and fights, that he's never just said, "Hey, you're not mine, anyways." Although he did once, and I thought he was kidding. But it was, he couldn't have, he didn't have to do that at the end, right? So, and he just kept that secret all along, and that's pretty impressive that he did that. Because in a lot of ways, because it would have just been turmoil.
Yeah, I remember you and I
So-
were going on a business trip when you're
Yeah, he died 2 days later.
Yeah.
On that trip. So
Yeah.
remember we were
And
in
we-
Vegas.
we knew.
think we were in Vegas.
Yeah, because we knew he was heading down that road.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so those last years of his life, I was there.
amazing.
It's one of the reasons I came to Central Coast of California, was to take care of him. From 18 until 30 something, he wasn't in my life. He was as a little kid, Jim Gibbs. I'd visit him in summers. It was like going to summer camp, and he would drop me off at the golf course instead of taking me to work. So he left me at the course. He was a member of the course. It was cool. So he just went swimming and hunted golf balls and played golf. So the golf course was my babysitter. But then when I became an adult, he wasn't in my life at all. So then when he got sick in my 30s, then I came here in this area. That's why I came here. So it's interesting, the circle, but knowing that
That's amazing. Like if that never really happened that way, then probably we wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't even know you.
yeah, there's a lot of
That's
things.
what
I
that's
mean.
insane. That's pretty heavy.
And to think back, how different it would be, who knows? Because it's not. It's just what it is. But
Right.
but it's and I'm blessed, in so many ways, and mostly it makes sense now. A lot of the questions that I had, I can't be related to this guy. There was times like that. There's no way that this guy could be my dad, because we were so different, and he had so many different things in his, and so that makes some sense.
Sure.
It makes total sense. But he was there. I was in his will.
Wow.
You didn't have to do that, right?
Amazing.
So, anyways, that's my B. I just wanted because it's Father's Day, and so it's funny. I told Josie I don't even know what my name is anymore, and I have to change all my license. I'm just kidding because I am. That's my name is Billy Gibbs. But I'm going to talk about Father's Day later if we do that topic and talk about how we. But so is he my dad? I don't know what to say. Do I call him Jim Gibbs now? Do I call him my dad? It's trippy. That's hard.
Yeah.
Not knowing, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Not knowing what to call him. That part's weird.
Yeah. I would, if I was, I don't know, it's easy for me to say because I'm not in your shoes, but if I was in your shoes, I would still probably call him Dad. He's another.
Which is funny because Dick has really been my dad.
Yeah.
And, but he's always been Dick, but he's raised me. You know?
Uncle Dad.
Uncle Dad.
With that, we're going to take our first break, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy brought to you by TaylorMade Golf. Check out the latest M5, M6 drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, and irons today at TaylorMadeGolf.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.